Hello, I'm Jonathan Whiting, part of a team who made Loot Rascals. In this video, I got the game to find me a particularly difficult seed. I played it and recorded myself playing it, and now I'm going to watch that and talk about what goes on in my head when I play Loot Rascals. Some sort of survival guide, I guess. If you want to play along at home before watching the video, you could try the seed 815, which I'll be playing today. So first off, I'm going to check what the quest is, see what that card is. Daylight Flipper is a nice card, it's definitely a useful one. So early on in the game, I'm just trying to find any way of boosting my stats. I especially want to gain some more attack because it's very hard to do well against even the harder games in World 1 until you at least have something in place. But of course you don't get to know what you're going to find before you find it. So I'm mostly just playing very cautiously and trying to avoid getting hit without needing, unless I need to get hit. It's kind of scary to see at this point, but at least it's an Oberon which only moves every 2 turns, so by playing around it I can avoid getting into a fight. So I want to get that card because it's going to boost my attack, but I don't want to get into a fight. Now I'm thinking about whether I should attack him. The plus side is he'll be carrying a useful card. The downside is I'll probably take damage. This was probably a bit of a mistake. By pushing on forwards here with the elite enemy behind me, I've put myself in a situation where I'm going to have to get hurt. There we go. So I figured that it's best just to deal with it and take the damage. Because otherwise I'm going to spend loads of time trying to extract myself from that situation. The health would be good right now. But I need to be careful to not take damage from these two guys. So I'm thinking about where the exit might be. It's usually further away from the start. So pushing forwards is usually the right thing to do if you're in doubt and looking for the exit. I don't necessarily explore the whole level as I'm pushing forwards. So I'm just kind of trying to search out where the path to the exit might be. If I find the exit early, that's fine, I can always go back. But until I find the exit, that's always hanging over me. But I will need to find it at some point. Sometimes you can be quite pressed for time. So now, because I didn't deal with the rat on this generator, I have to deal with the clunkers, which is a bit of a pain. But I'm just deciding that running away is going to be a reasonable approach. If I get enough distance between me and the clunkers, then they will give up and start turning around. So I'm trying to do that. Yeah, so see, they're not following me anymore. Got out of range. So this sort of dancing around to try and avoid getting hit is very important. Against Ogrons it's fairly easy to almost always avoid getting hit. With some other enemies it's a bit harder. It's always worth trying. Unless you're really pressed for turns. So I've got a lot of defense cards which are useful, but not so much attack. Really I'd like to be running with more attack than defense. But you get what you're given to some extent. Killing more enemies means you're more likely to get cards, but you don't always get the things you want. And it's possible to make almost any collection of cards work. But certainly when I'm laying out my cards, I'm trying to maximize my attack right now, because gaining more defense is not nearly as useful. So this will give me a filth card, which is probably my favourite ability in the game. It's very powerful, being able to move where you like quickly. So there's the exit. We're pushing forwards. I found it without putting too many turns. So I still have about 50 turns left, but I can then use to try and do just a tiny bit more exploring, see if I find anything good. The reinforcements are quite dangerous when they start turning up. Not at first, but before long they'll become a real threat, especially in World 1, and especially like I am now with like low stats. So I'm going to want to leave and exit this world fairly soon. I'm just giving up on further exploration and getting out of there, just in case something nasty spawns. So, World 2. At this point, my attack and defense is quite low. I'd usually hope to have a bit more than that. This might make this world a bit more challenging than the last. So that bomb bear is interesting. I could walk and trigger it and retreat safely, but maybe there's a possibility of using it against something. If there's anything nasty beyond it, then I might be very glad for using it against it. So I'm thinking about whether to put the filth card on one of my cards to see if I can catch something beyond it, or use it as a safety net against a difficult enemy that might be lying beyond. And decide to give it a punt. My attack and defense is low, and yeah, that lunk could be a prime thing to try and use that bomb on. So I might be able to get the shark pants as well, but no, I didn't have enough space to make that work. Lucky not to get hurt there, but there isn't much I could do about it. I don't want to have too many enemies chasing me early on, because it will be very hard to deal with. This is a bad situation to put myself in. I should have been a bit more cautious. But I do have a flip day and night card, so I can at least make sure I get the first hit on one of these. In bad situations like this, it's usually good to take full stock of what your options are, because very often you have some way of escaping. That's what I'm doing. I'm thinking about the possibilities I can do. I can't warp to the dome because I'm too close to enemies. And I'm also thinking about which way I'll move once I equip it. Once I flip the day-night. Checking for other abilities I might have. I could try and use the Flange to run away, but that's very unlikely to work in this situation. So I'm flipping day-night, and I'm probably going to walk upwards. Yeah. And that gave me enough charge for my filth to be available, which means I can now escape from that one. And now I'm going to have to heal. So if I play that a bit better, I might not have had to quite yet. I probably would have ended up doing it eventually, but I still have to deal with this thing. So the one will probably have a decent card, so it might be worth fighting it, even though it's going to hurt me in the process. It's definitely a bit of a risk there, but yeah, it does have a good card. Because my defense is quite high, I'm getting away with some of these things that I otherwise wouldn't. So I'm just trying to find the best layout. So I've got a bunch more attack now, like 4 more attack, which should mean things are a bit easier. It's still quite low though. Ouch, that was enough. So I need to push forwards to try and find more cards and try and find the exit eventually, but it's still kind of scary. So I'm going to use this bomb, most likely, to try and take out this Ogworks. Ah, but it's at the end of its range, so it's not going to work. So I'll just use it on this instead. So I know the Ogworks isn't going to move this turn, so I can just leap past him using the filth, and then kill him with that bomb. He had a good card by the looks of it. Yeah, that's nice. So I'm having a look at this little room here. There's a health thing which would be nice. There's quite a lot of scary things there. I don't think I'm going to be able to get it without losing more health than I gain. So I'm just going to leave it. Ice slips like this are a bit scary because you could just slide straight into something like that. So I try to minimize the amount that I slip into unknown space. Sometimes like this it isn't entirely possible to avoid. And because enemies slip on ice too, you can use it to get away from them. And I'm going to need to do some careful maneuvering now because there's a lot of very strong enemies. If my filth card was charged, there's a nice trick you can do where you punch an enemy and then filth teleport out of combat. But It isn't charged, so that's not open to me. I'm just trying to outmaneuver right now. I'm using the ice slips helps with that. So I could feel fought over that if I had it charged, but instead I'm just gonna take the fight. It's a better fight than with the others. Again, didn't really want to have to take that fight, but I didn't have much choice. I did at least get a nice card out of it, so that's lucky. But now I have low health, and that's a concern to say the least. So I'm just going to go back to the dome and burn some more tokens to heal. Shame, but I've had to do this twice. But continuing with 1 health is very likely to leave me dead, so this is a better alternative, as I have the tokens to spend. The worrying thing now is if I want to heal again, it will cost me 8 tokens, and I don't see myself having that anytime soon. Unlike other enemies, the sharks don't have a limited range. They'll keep on chasing you forever. So I'm using that filth trick that I mentioned earlier to get 2 punches on it without taking any damage. Because I'm really worried about preserving my health now. Now it's going to cost me 8 tokens to get another here. So I'm going to have to be careful of these lunks. I wasn't careful enough in fact. So now I'm probably going to have to fight this lunk. Maybe some help in the process. That's sure. So my stats are a bit better now. They're still lower than I'd like them to be right now. But I can actually get in some fights. This is a bit scary. If I move down in the egg general, there's going to have an enemy near it, and therefore it's defend, so I'm doing the filth trick again. It didn't put me in the best situation, but not the worst either. I'd like to pick that up, but if I pick it up I'm going to get into a fight. And reinforcements have started coming, so I don't have much time now. I need to find the exit and get out of here. So I'm trying to find a way of separating the wolf and the egg gem, which I managed to do. I took one life damage there, but had the egg gem got the jump on me instead, I would almost certainly be dead by now. It'd be nice to teleport in and get that bomb card. I'm having to use my filth just to stay alive. I'm not sure it's going to be viable. Also, my tokens are feeling fairly pinched, so the idea of spending 5 tokens on a large bomb is not very appealing. So if I have to let it go, that'll be fine. So I'm just pushing forwards as quickly as I can to try and find the exit. And here it is. So now I've got a choice about whether I use the flip day night to kill both of these easily in the hope that we might have a useful card, or do I just leave? Turns out they don't have a useful card. They can kill this as well, and that may be justified spending the token. I'm just thinking about whether it's time to leave, where if there's a place I can put that card. I think that possibly wasn't the best card to replace it with, but it was alright. And now the reinforcements are getting quite advanced, so I'm just getting out. I might have missed some cards, but it's better that than get stuck with a really difficult enemy. Feel ward free now. And the scariest thing is my health situation. I only have 2, and I don't have nearly enough tokens to actually heal. So I'm going to have to be very cautious here. My stats are not so bad anymore, but my health situation is scary. Now it's really scary. You're only on 1 health. Taking any punches is extremely risky because it could just kill you. So I'm going to have to try and be clever and use the environment to kill things. World 3 is quite like bomb and steam vent heavy, which at least means that the environment has a few more possibilities of killing enemies than it normally would. So, yeah, I'm just navigating around, trying to play it safe. It'd be really good to kill enemies and get more token ready cards. That health would be amazing right now, but I need to make sure I deal with this Ekman Deluxe safely. So things are a whole lot less scary now. I'm still at risk, but I'm not in immediate danger of dying with any hit. So I'm going to try and use that bomb to kill that Sayak. Just wondering how best to do it. Seems to work. Again, I'm trying to use the bomb to kill enemies. But Venture Groom will give me a life card, which is incredibly good right now, because it gives me a way of healing. Just thinking about which card it should drop on. The sticky card makes sense, as it will probably be with me for a while. It's also a high value card. So I'm using the heal whilst I'm in combat, because it saves a turn. Any abilities you use in combat don't take your turns, but abilities you use outside of combat take a turn. So both of these enemies are strong enough to give me a decent punch. So I'm seeing if there's a way I can use my bomb to take care of them. So they're Helen routes random me, so I'm a bit hard to guide into anything. Now that I have 3 health, I'm in a much better situation. So I'm going back to playing more normally. And this is scary. I might be forced to spend a token here to flip day night. So in this one I'm leaning quite a lot on flip day night. Of course, you won't always have any particular tool available, but knowing what you can do with any particular tool that you have is like a strong thing. I might lean heavily on this ability because it's one I found in this run, but in the next run, with different abilities, I'll have to lean heavily on other things instead. Sometimes you don't have many abilities and you just have to try and lean on your stats and your wits, I guess. So using steam vents to kill enemies like that is good, but it's also a bit risky. Their cards, if they have one, will drop onto a steam vent, and the steam vent will destroy the card if you leave it too long before getting it. So it's better than getting hurt, but it's not always better than avoiding enemies. The exit, which is great, but I still have 50 turns, so I might try and squeeze them right up below. My stats are okay, but they're not great. Doing some thinking about cards, see if there's anything better I can do with my setup. Looking at it now, I think there is at least one thing I could do to slightly improve it. Yeah, those space shots in the middle top are underpowered. But I'm getting out. And this is where I'm going to leave you. I want to leave some surprises left in the game. So I'll get a stop here. hope you enjoyed watching, um, and hope you're enjoying Loot Rascals. Bye for now.